Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to be here today. My name is Lolly Walton. I've lived in Brevard County since 2004 after living in Miami for 32 years and the Florida Keys. My husband and I loved it, adored it, and enjoyed it. I'm now widowed. I lost him 3 years ago. So I keep myself very busy. I teach beginning watercolor techniques in Sebastian, Florida. I teach in Rockledge on Thursdays. I teach cancer patients in Orlando on Mondays. And then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I eat my way through the rest of the week. Okay, because I personally think eating is an art form because I'm Italian. Part of me is Italian and part of me is Irish, okay? So I find that my creativity, which I think all of you have, comes back to us, okay? We all colored when we were young, we all painted when we were young, but then life takes us in different directions. So I think basically what I wanted to talk about today was how you begin is not how you end up. And I started out, I was born in Milford, Delaware, above the Mason-Dixon line, and then we moved to Alabama when I was 5, maybe 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We lived there until I was 12. We had 20,000 chickens.
Oh my.
20,000 chickens, and we had a pet pig named Googie that dressed out to 1,000 pounds of bacon. So my family, I put this, and I would recommend this to anyone. This is a calendar that I put together of my family, not history, but events. This is my grandmother, who was 83. And her mother lived, are you ready for this? To be 104. And she came to my grandmother's funeral, okay? And guess how many children she had? 10 children. 2 sets of twins and 1 set died. And she came to my grandmother's funeral, who was 83. So this is my husband. I'm not gonna bear on him right now. I'll show you other things about him. This is me in the barnyard with the calf, with my britches on, nothing else. Because you could run barefooted and everything, and you could have a wonderful time. So don't you just love how the grass is cut? And look at the size of those britches. They were probably my big sister's britches. This is Scott and I on the boat fishing, and this is me on our 35th wedding anniversary. My mom and dad with their airplane. Oh, look, and here I am blonde. Well, it's a wig. If you like.
Where was the farm?
In Sylacauga, Alabama.
Oh.
Sylacauga, okay? Now, the other thing I brought, because I know we all lived through this, I saved this. How about this? Can you guess what year this was?
69.
Yes, that's absolutely right. The man walked on the moon, and I saved this, and I don't know how many people would. You know what I'm saying? But I thought it was interesting. You can see that too. That's okay, honey. So, but my husband was a soda jerk at the pharmacy down where I lived in Wilmington, Delaware, and I would go in and talk to him, and he would get very nervous, and he would drool. And he had all these zits all over his face, and he had a flat top that was bleached from the New Jersey sun, not from the Rehoboth Beach, Delaware sun. And he would try to talk to me, and he would get really nervous. So I didn't like him. So about 3 years later, we went to a sports car race. And I went with Jay, who was really homely and was 6'5" and looked like a spider, but he drove a Porsche. So I went with Jay in this Porsche, okay? When I got there, there was Scott. Oh my God, he was gorgeous. He had morphed into this handsome, beautiful man, but he didn't drool, but he was still obnoxious. He asked me for my phone number in front of Jay. Isn't that obnoxious? No, apparently not. Apparently that's not obnoxious. So I told him I didn't have a phone number, which I really didn't, because my mother had just died. And I had an apartment of my own. And so when Jay left, he came back and Scott gave me his phone number. And he said, "You call me Monday night at 7 o'clock. What do you think, ladies? Do you think I called him?
No.
How about you? You think I called him?
You did.
How about you, ladies? You think I called him?
course.
You didn't?
No.
You don't call it.
I called him at 7:45.
Oh, okay.
I made him wait 45 minutes.
Good.
His mother said that he almost walked a hole in the Oriental rug. And then he smoked a half a pack of cigarettes. Then we went out on our first date, and we were together 60 years after that. The first time we went fishing, I learned the F word, and it wasn't fish. It wasn't fish. Now, honey, when you pick up the fish, you pick it up by the leader, not the line. Well, I was so excited. It was this huge fish, and I just picked up the line, the fish was gone, and he said, "Oh, F." Oh, that's the first time I ever heard the F word.
Really?
Yeah. So we fished and floated. He worked for the DuPont company for 30-some years, and I worked for Hercules Incorporated, which was the original black powder section of the DuPont company. I could type 110 words a minute. I could take shorthand at 90 words a minute. You sat at a steno pool all day long and typed reports and letters and everything. And then, guess how much I made? A month. A month. $300. That's exactly right.
Oh, wow.
I worked for the same phosphate company. I worked for a phosphate company.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
$300 a month, and you know what? We got paid once a month.
Oh.
Once a month. Okay. So when Thanksgiving comes, and another question: how many of you, when you were at Thanksgiving dinner, there was always somebody at Thanksgiving dinner you did not want to have there?
Oh, yes.
Did that happen? That happened
That
sometimes
was
too.
me.
No, wait. Does anybody have any questions for me?
Well, you started talking about learning to paint later in life. You didn't do any painting before?
Well,
that?
it's no. Well, when I was in high school, my art teacher, Mr. Keating, said to me, "Lolly, don't tell Brian this," he said, "but you have more God-given talent as an artist than Brian." Now, Brian was a buddy of mine that lived next door to us, and he went to Parsons in New York, which is Pratt Institute now, and he painted sunrises, sunsets, sold all his paintings. I was with him when he died. That's the kind of husband I had. My husband knew him. We grew up together. I was with him for 2 weeks before he died of cancer. But he did very, very well. But I didn't have the opportunity. Do you understand what I'm saying? I didn't have the opportunity to go to school. So once Rebecca went off to college, then I started taking lessons, So then I kept taking lessons, and I feel what I paint what I feel, and I surround myself. There are several societies in Brevard County: the Brevard Watercolor Society, the Central Brevard Art Association, the North Brevard Art Association, Titusville Art Association. So there are plenty of places to go to learn if you want to do it. Okay. When I teach on Tuesdays down in Sebastian, it's $15 a lesson. It's for 4 hours. You get to listen to me talk for 4 more hours, and then you learn how to paint. And then on Wednesdays, I'm in the gallery where I have my paintings, and then on Thursdays, I teach up at Central Brevard Art Association. And then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I eat and sleep and go to church. Pray that I get up to do the rest of the stuff the rest of the week. So I'm very blessed, very blessed. So, well, I have to tell you about the time my father took me squirrel hunting. It was fun. Well, it was like 10:30. Excuse me.
Is that
Hello?
real?
I'm sorry. May I call you back? Yes, I'm in a meeting right now. There's 20 people listening to me. I know you find that hard to believe. Stop laughing. Goodbye.
That's not real, is it?
It's real.
Oh my God.
I knew you'd love it. I knew you ladies would love it. See? My cell phone goes in here. Here's my cell phone. And it hooks up. Hooks up to a little cable somewhere in here. See, it just hung up. So it was about 10:30 in the morning. It was in October, around that time. I said, "Hey, Dad," my mom had been passed away. So I said, "Hey, Dad, I want to go squirrel hunting with you." "Nah, can't you see it's too damn windy? It's raining, it's wet, the world squirrels aren't out yet. Nah, it's too windy, too wet. You won't even be able to see them or hear them." Well, I was grossly disappointed. So about 3 o'clock, the sun came out, it was fine. Come on, young'un, we're going squirrel hunting. I said, well, Dad, I gotta go to the bathroom. Come on, gotta go now. The squirrels are out there now. Get the gun. 22, whatever it was. Put your butt down over there, sit down next to that tree, put your back against it. When you see the squirrel coming, you shimmy up the tree. Not shimmy, but you inch up the tree, set your gun, and when you see the squirrel, set, aim, and shoot it, right? The squirrel jumped from one branch to the other branch. I thought it jumped on me. I wet myself, I shot the gun, wet myself, and ran back to the house. My father never asked me to go, never asked to go hunting again. I mean, is that hysterical, Roxy?
God,
Is that hysterical? Yes.
When I watched my father come home from hunting rabbit,
Yeah. Oh.
I thought that was a great sport, but it wasn't. You'll appreciate this. It was for food.
Yes, that's exactly right. And you know what? A rabbit, when you're cleaning a rabbit, it really stinks. It doesn't smell good at all. Most things that you hunt, pheasant, quail, those are pretty good. But when you get to the fur-bearing, the squirrel and whatever, I've had fried squirrel, I've had fried rabbit, and that's exactly right. You did it for food. But my mother would disguise it so much, it would never have a gamey smell. I mean, being Italian, my grandmother could just hold a chicken over the pot and it tasted like $1 million. And even today, I have recipes that were my great-grandmother's and my grandmother's. In fact, my daughter is using them over the holidays. My daughter she lived in Mexico. She moved to Portugal. She's lived in Thailand, Belize, Mexico. She's lived in the Keys, she lived in America. She speaks 4 languages. She's 51 and she's married to a 41-year-old German. And they've traveled all over the world. They have no children. They can't have any children. And as I said, she speaks 4 languages. So she's been, and I'm blessed. Clark. Oh!
Yeah, and it was in 55. And we used to go after school and wait in line because unless you were a member of the
clique,
you didn't get in. I went 4 or 5 times, but I was a pretty good dancer in high school.
Do you want to dance now?
I can still jitterbug.
He and his wife.
I try to get
That's wonderful.
Yeah, my wife can't do it anymore. She her balance is not good enough. But
well, I was on there for about 7 minutes. And you wanted to see Justine Corelli and Bob Clark and whatever. And so your head's going around trying to see some of the regulars, And this guy that I went with, he really was a good dancer. Well, it was about exciting for about 2 minutes. And then it's not a big room, is it? It's a tiny little thing, And then they let you on there for 7 minutes and then they push you out the other door. So what looked like a big going on was just a square little room. But it was an experience. It was an experience,
It's fun to watch. So we knew you already a long time ago.